Welcome back to Dark Nights. We left off with Miyoko and... what was his name? It doesn't matter. They're in a compromising position. Ah yes, Kurato. I become self-conscious when he grins at me. I've been sitting on top of him for a while now. Yeah, you should probably move. I quickly crawl off and fix my skirt. When he chuckles, I strike a glare. I saw nothing. I took a seat on the couch and crossed my arms. Anyway, thanks for taking care of me last night. I feel a lot better. Considering you were a rabbit thing, and then trying to outrun a Shinigami, yeah, fair enough. Yep, you promised last night. He takes in a deep breath as if to steel himself before turning to me. As you already know, that bunny form of mine is a curse. Because I'm losing control of it, there's also a chance I might stay like that permanently. I could guess that part. This is not really my style. Let me start with how I ended up in this village. He stutters frequently in the beginning, clearly not used to sharing his background. Despite that, I listen quietly as he reveals himself more about himself. The bits and pieces finally come together. Oh boy, flashback. I hummed a bright tune on my way to school. I was restless despite the cheerful melody I was making. Hopefully I won't encounter them today. Oh, who am I kidding? There's no escape since we're in the same class. While my mind was distracted, someone patted me on my shoulder. A girl with pigtails popped up from behind me, wrapped her arms around my waist in an attempt to lift me up. Without warning, she started swinging me around. Rasumi, stop. But you're so cute and tiny. I'm going to faint. Don't be so dramatic, I'm just teasing you. She looks potentially evil. She stopped and put me down. Judging from the devilish smile on her face, she had no regrets at all. I shook my head and tried to fix my clothes. Rasumi was one of my closest friends. She was a few years older than me, but somehow we got along. Are you looking forward to the school festival? Nah, I don't feel like participating this year. Why not? Don't give me that face, it'll be fun. Is he missing an arm? I'd rather study for the upcoming exams. Lies. I can't imagine you sitting there studying all day long. Rasumi pouted, but did not push further. I made it clear I was not going to participate. We walked together quietly until we reached the hallways. You can find me in the canteen during lunch break. I'm heading off to class. See you later. She waved before skipping happily away. I turned my head to see a boy with gray blonde hair standing right beside me. In shock, I stumbled a few steps away from him. Roya, what the hell are you doing? Greeting my buddy like usual. Anyway, do you have it with you? Seeing the glint in his eyes, I looked away and tried to walk past him, but he grabbed my arm. Wait, we're not done. You want me to tell the teachers you cheated? Roya took a piece of paper out of his pocket and waved it out in front of me. That's my... The teacher would definitely recognize my handwriting. I felt my chest growing tighter and attempted to snatch the piece of paper away. Roya dodged and pushed me away. He could take me on easily. I took out a bag of candies from my bag and handed it to him. Roya grabbed it from me with a satisfied smirk. He wordlessly turned away from me and went to the classroom. When are you going to give that paper back to me? The boy did not reply nor look back. Hanging his head, I bit my lip, standing in place while everyone else around me went inside. I wasn't looking forward to see my other classmates. For some reason, it felt like they didn't like me. After making sure Roy had gone to a seat, I set foot into the room. Ah, Kurato, you're late. I just stood outside for a minute. No excuses. Late is late. Please stay a little longer after class ends. Okay. Avoiding everyone's gaze, I walked straight to my seat. Once I sat down, I felt somewhat safe again. Suddenly, someone threw paper props at me. I turned around and noticed the amused face of Roya. It didn't surprise me. He stifled a laugh, clearly mocking me. I could not help but tear a piece from my notebook into a ball and threw it, and another miss. At my third attempt, the teacher caught me and called the attention of the whole class. Embarrassment took over me. I don't deserve to be punished. Even though the teacher was talking to me, I didn't focus on what he said. Let this be over, let this be over. I merely nodded at whatever he said to me. Soon later, he continued the lecture. Heaving a sigh, slumped against my desk, already feeling tired. Sighing shortens your lifespan, you know. Tenchi's mischievous green eyes were looking at me, his mouth forming a crooked smile. Keep your jokes to yourself today. I've already gotten into enough trouble. What troubles? I'm sure this teacher has something against me. Doesn't he always treat his students harshly? That student that student would be me. I'm not an honor student like you, Tenchi. You must have done something wrong then. You're responsible for your own reputation. Hello, Shinigami. You're not helping, you know that? Huh, sorry, buddy. Let me treat you to lunch. My gloomy expression quickly cleared up. During the lunch break, Tenchi headed out. I'm gonna get melon bread for you. Wait here. Just then I saw Roy approaching me from the corner of my eye. Pretending to be busy, my attention wandered off to the window. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my shoulder and chills ran down my spine. Hey, why are you sitting all alone? Can you stop bothering me? Let me keep you company. Roy casually grabbed a chair and put it next to mine, then sat down. I was not in the mood to talk with him, but he forcefully seized my hand before I could stand up. Hey, you forgot to give me something. Just kidding. You didn't think I was serious, did you? Another boy approached us and stood before Roya. It was his little brother, Junoro. Despite being siblings, I did not often see them together. Junoro's golden eyes fitted between the two of us and he pursed his lips. Oreo, come on. I'm not a frog, quit calling me that. Come here. Is this the person from that cemetery? Or that house that we saw outside? Perhaps. We're gonna do all the routes, so we'll learn. Without further warning, Junoro grabbed Roy's arm and pulled him away from me. When they went further away, I could hear them arguing. I could not help but eavesdrop. When will you stop picking on Kurato? I don't know what you're talking about. It is obvious. I found out his parents are working with ours, and you know how mom and dad are barely at home because of work. So you bully their son because they take time from our parents? I have my reasons. You're just making your reputation worse. If you keep going like this, I'll stop you myself. I don't care, this isn't even your business. I quietly listened as the brothers continued to argue. As I was thinking, suddenly something got pushed into my mouth. Sorry that it took a while, everything was sold out, and they only had pizza bread left. I don't mind. The flavors that burst in my mouth was almost enough to make me forget about earlier. My favorite treat never disappoints me. I'm glad Tenchi is here. No one else in this class cares about me, and you just ran away and let him get killed, right? Yeah, I can understand how you'd be really upset about that. Hey, what was this about Roya? You saw it? Somehow it looks like you guys started to get along recently. We're not even close to being friends. It's better if you two get along. He's pretty popular around the girls here too. Maybe he can teach you a trick or two. Thanks for rubbing it in. Just kidding, I like your style better. Tenchi showed a bright smile and playfully patted my shoulder. After class, I'd realized I'd forgotten about Rasumi. Hurriedly, I packed my bag and headed to her room. Hey, Kurato, what's with the gloomy face? Sorry they didn't come during a lunch break. Something distracted me. It's all okay. But I have something important to do later. You mind if I go ahead? Yeah, I'll be fine by myself. Have a nice weekend. Once she disappeared from sight, I was alone. At home. So much homework to do. This will take a while. Let's start with history, the most fun subject. First chapter, 4 legends of this village. This sounds really interesting. Oh, I should take notes. I searched through my backpack but could not find my notebooks. I must have left them at school. Tomorrow's the weekend, so it won't be open. If I hurry to school now, I can still make it. I left the note on the table just in case my parents returned before I did, then quickly headed to school. Oh. The school's still open? The night school. It felt like I was the only one in the building. You're definitely not the only one in the building. Flashback day 1. Oh, are there multiple days of flashbacks? A short while later, I found what I was looking for. Suddenly, I heard voices coming from a classroom. Out of curiosity, I went to take a look. That's not so nice of you, Mr. You know me. I know it was you. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's been a short while, but shall I refresh your mind? 1 blackmail letter each week. You really are persistent, aren't you? But no matter how badly you want our family out of this village, it's not going to happen. I can hear a bunch of papers rustling as if someone's waving them. You have no proof, Roya. You're just randomly pointing fingers. I wouldn't be so sure, Mr. Yunomi. I found a similar message in your notebook on your desk. It matched perfectly. The notebook isn't mine. Really? But doesn't that pen in your chest pocket have the same purple ink? Oh, and there's your handwriting too. So what if I did? Nobody believes you anyway. Is that so? Don't underestimate my connections. You'll be discovered soon. My family won't go easy on you. You're getting ahead of yourself, Roya. I'll make sure you won't be able to talk. What are you talking about? It went silent, curious as to what was going on. I peeked around the corner. I froze up once I see the teacher with his hands around Roya's neck. What is he? Is he trying to kill him? In panic, I looked around the hallway, hoping another teacher would pass by. Suddenly, I heard a loud grunt. Wait, what? I told you not to underestimate me. You, what? Goodbye, Mr. Yunomi. Despite the bad feeling I had, I peeked at them again. The teacher was on the ground, surrounded by a pool of blood. Ruya stood over him with stained hands. What happened when I looked away? Judging from the scene, it looked like Ruya killed the teacher. A sudden voice snapped me back to reality. Did you just see the whole thing? No. My legs finally managed to move, as if released by chains, and I quickly ran to the exit. I'm not going to school for a while. The weekend passed quickly. I spent the whole time thinking about what I should do about Roya. In the end, I still didn't have the guts to go back to school. Honey, aren't you late for class? I don't feel good today. Just some rest will do. Thanks for caring. Let me know if you need something. I'm glad she didn't question further. I wish my parents let me do that. I looked through the windows and noticed my buddy Tenchi waiting at the door. Whew, thought it was Roya for a moment there. Hey, what's up? We don't have class today, so I came to bug you. Really? Our teacher suddenly passed away and they couldn't find a replacement yet. Oh, I see. Are you feeling okay? I don't feel too good, so I wasn't planning to go to school. I rubbed the back of my head and looked away, feeling bad for lying. Well, since you're already here, do you want to do homework together? Sure. Luckily, I brought my books with me. You spent the rest of this day studying and chatting. While Tenchi brought up the topic of Mr. Yunomi, the teacher passed away, I could only nod stiflingly as he rambled on about his grades. Are you really okay? Maybe I should call... I'm fine, it's just... I know who killed Mr. Yunomi. From there I decided to tell him about Ruya, his bullying, and what I saw that day. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do if I were in your situation either. Why not tell a teacher? But what if they don't believe me? What if Ruya tells them I cheated on the last test? Which would you believe more? You just need proof to convince authorities. We should collect evidence against him. Can you help me? Not sure if I can be of use, but of course. I stayed home for the next few days until I finally had the confidence to face Ruya. Coincidentally, the day I returned to school was thus the day the new teacher arrived. Hello students, I'll be your homeroom teacher for the next semester. Hope we can get along. It was dead silent in the classroom. A gloomy atmosphere hung around. The previous teacher was liked by the students. It would take a while to get used to the new one. During class, I could not pay attention because someone, Undoubtedly, Roya was staring holes into my back. Hey Tenchi, Roya's staring at me. Huh, can't tell since we're in the front. I'm scared to turn around. Okay, I'll do it. Hey, don't turn around. What, I'm gonna check if he's looking. Don't, he'll kill you. What's he gonna do? We're in class. He can kill you later. So is he looking? Nope, really? I turn around and stare right into Roya's glare. Tenchi hides his laughter behind his textbook. What if he's thinking about how to kill me? Don't worry, I'm here to protect you, and I'll call everyone I know. Even though my fears were hardly quelled, Tenchi's gesture put me at ease. By the way, take this lucky charm. A rabbit? This is a lucky stone called aventurine. Keep it with you and may your worries disappear like melting snow. Are you sure I can take this? Yeah, consider it a gift. A bunny. So a rabbit charm. And you turn into a rabbit. The school festival was a few days later, and somehow, Rasumi managed to coax me into participating. I fumbled through my pocket but soon realized it was empty. I searched through my desk and locker but it came up empty too. I must have dropped it or someone took it. What's wrong, Kurato? Everyone's already outside preparing for the festival. I lost my lucky charm, it's important. A friend gave it to me, I can't find it anywhere. Calm down, when was your last memory of it? I still had it when I arrived at school. Then it must be still on the school grounds. Charms can't grow legs and walk off, after all. Come on, the forest race is about to start, we can look for it later. Forest race? My PE uniform was supposed to be stored there, but was gone. I have no choice but to go in my current outfit. We gathered at the forest for the so-called forest race. As the name said, participants had to aim at being the fastest. Parameters were set up so the forest was structured like a maze with multiple entry points but only one exit. Students would pair up at different starting points, and the pair that found the exit first would win the race. To make things more fun, there were also printed arrows stuck to the trees, pointing in different directions to try and mislead students. Kurato, the forest race is about to start. This is your number. Your partner has the same number. It's Roy, isn't it? Hey buddy, are you 9 too? Such a coincidence to be paired up in this race. Yeah. Stick with me, okay? If you walk off too far, we'll be automatically disqualified. Disqualified. I know, you don't have to tell me. Roy looked around as making sure nobody's nearby. Hey, about the other night. I bet you saw everything, so why haven't you told anyone? You couldn't get away with it if you tried, but still, you had enough reason to tell on me. Alright, I know. You're scared of me, aren't you? It's all written all over your face. Haha. I'm not. Little Kurato, you can keep quiet for me, right? I know you will. I'm gonna tell everyone you killed our teacher. He's better off dead. You should be thanking me. He didn't like you, remember? But... I had no response to his taunts. Tears welled up in my eyes, but I refused to let him get the better of me. During the whole race, I was walking behind Roya. I wasn't focused at all and let him choose the routes. After a short while, we managed to find the exit, but ended up in 7th place. A week passed, and I couldn't find the charm I lost. I had a feeling someone stole it, but I couldn't point fingers. Tenchi tried cheering me up by buying my favorite treats, but I still felt guilty. Once I entered the room, I noticed something strange. Something drawn on the chalkboard caught my attention. It's different than the usual doodle on it. Upon closer inspection, my chest grew heavy. Tenchi walked over to me and placed his hand on my shoulder. What is this? Don't tell me this drawing's supposed to be you. I guess so. Tenchi turned back to the classroom glaring at the other students. Everyone was as surprised as we were. Many shook their head as a sign of innocence. Alright. I knew something scribbled on my desk. I went closer to check. Alright. We'll go with the chalkboard because that's far funnier. My friend grabbed a cleaner and wiped everything off the chalkboard after that. He took a piece of chalk and drew something new. Bright days? Yeah, happy stuff. Tenchi brushed off the dust in his hands and nodded. My mind wandered off to the incident a moment ago. Just thinking about the situation lowered my mood. I had a bad feeling anyone could pull off a prank, but it's probably Roya. 2 days passed by. I felt restless because of a nightmare last night. A murder occurred between my classmates and I was running. Even now I still vividly remember the bloody scene. Dreams about trying to escape a room. Object or situation might indicate your desire to change something in your life. Even when I'm asleep, Roya seems to haunt me. If you're linking the dream to Roya, he didn't even appear in it. The murder appeared. It's definitely a metaphor. Yeah, it's a metaphor, so you shouldn't take it seriously. I don't remember any of my dreams. Perhaps they just weren't memorable enough. It's not a bad thing. I'd rather have nothing than continuous nightmares. Give me that dream dictionary. I want to read more about it. Tenchi and I studied together for a while, then he left early because he felt too tired to spend so long in this place. Later on, Rasumi joined me. I see you're working hard. I wonder why you took books of every subject. Let me guess, you're cramming now that exams are soon? Let's be honest, nobody starts studying that early. Since Rasumi came empty-handed, I assumed she had other matters to attend to. She went around taking books from various shelves. All of them were related to the forest demon. I thought they were fantasy novels, but quickly recalled a few legends before I heard them. As she was researching something interesting, I became bored of staring at school books. I slid next to her and peeked at the book she was holding. This semester, we're learning about the legends of the village. Ever heard of them? A bit. Tell me more. The books talk about some festivals and how they originated. I'm more interested to know if there are other demons or supernaturals in the village. You know, there are rumors going around that people can get possessed by spirits. What happens then? I don't know. You'll need to see for yourself. It sounds scary. I didn't think you were interested in such things. I like ghost stories in general, but some recent activities got me more intrigued. That's not my cup of tea. Too scary, huh? We should go see the theater next time. Next season will be a horror theme. Count me out and call your own friends. You are my friends, so... Anyway, I just passed by to get some books. Keep studying hard, okay? Rasumi packed the books in a bag and left the library. While I was looking through my own books, I noticed my friend had forgotten one. It was a simple notebook with a cute cover, so it was not from the library. I'll return it when I see her at school. I skimmed through the notes she took in class. Four. On this page there were more notes, unlike me. Rasumi does way better in class. I used it for instance for my own studies. Mayhap she enjoyed writing stories. I did not have time to read all of her writings, so I left it for later. "38. There are more doodles on this page. I didn't think Rasumi was into art. Her drawings look fun. I felt like doodling in my notebooks as well. Names are written to the humanoid characters. I assumed those were her friends or classmates. She improved as she drew more. I envied she could learn a skill so fast. I noticed that at some point, the fine lines transitioned into rough scribbles. She started using color, but mostly red. The characters got more exaggerated proportions, perhaps intentional. After looking at all the drawings she made, I went back to studying. Huh. The further I browsed, I noticed these paragraphs written in different ink and handwriting style towards the back. These days have been quite fun. I almost got lost into interactions. The neighbors have been acting strange. I heard odd noises every few nights. Eyes are staring at me from a distance. I sat in my corner staring at a wall. Laughter resounded behind my back. I slowly raised my arms and covered my eyes. I could still hear their voices. A presence stood behind me. A hand reached out. I ignored it. They pulled my hair. My body got tugged backwards and I fell on my back with my ears still covered. Something appeared in my vision. It was my plush bear. Multiple whispers surrounded me again. I did not focus on the words. A pair of scissors came into my vision. I could only stare at the object poking the plush bear. Pieces of white stuffing dropped on the floor. I squeezed my eyes and pressed harder against my ears. I felt something being thrown against my head. I slowly opened my eyes and stared at the mess of torn fabric and stuffing in front of me. Pain struck my leg on a reflex, my body curled up. It was a foot above my ankle. Suddenly, something seized my arm and pinned them in place. The last words rang in my ears. What do you look like inside? The story made me shiver. I was eager to know more, so I flipped the page. There was no more text, but only a drawing on the page. I quickly closed the notebook and set it back on the table. I glanced at it briefly, then shook my head to delete the image from my memory. Horror really wasn't my thing at all. Yeah, definitely worth choosing to read that. During lunch, most of my classmates went to the canteen. I grabbed my bag and took out my lunchbox and a newspaper. I began browsing through it. The section about mysteries intrigued me most. While I was lost in thought, Tenchi poked me on the shoulder. Do you believe everything written in the news? I think so, why wouldn't I? The truth isn't interesting all the time, so sometimes they twist stories to attract the public. The modern media in a nutshell. I won't. By the way, have you seen Yudai? He hasn't come to school for 2 days. A few of our other classmates too. I don't know. Perhaps they caught a flu or something? Perhaps they were killed. I hope it's just that case. The door of the classroom suddenly slid aside with a loud bang. I thought he wasn't coming today. I guess he was just late. Confronting him about the pranks crossed my mind, but he seemed to be in a worse mood than usual. I thought about it the whole day, but ended up not taking the chance. I sat at my desk. I reflected on how to approach him. I realized I didn't know anything about him. Both Kaichi and Rasumi tried to give me advice. Tenchi. I don't think it's meant to be Kaishi. What am I doing wrong? It feels like I'm repeating the same mistake over and over because the situation hasn't changed. I let my back rest against the chair. My eyes felt heavy and I allowed myself to doze off. What to do in this situation? You've always been so indecisive, Kurato. Basically, you only have 2 options. Do nothing or fight back. Choose whatever sounds good to you. What matters is what you want in the end and you stick to it. That doesn't sound like good English. Maybe. There are more people like him around, you can't avoid it. Talk to me whenever something happens, I want to help, even if it's just with words. It's often said that talking helps with stress, although you need the right people for it. Trust me. The weekend passed without events. Dear students, I have bad news to tell. Something unfortunate happened to the Kenrichi family last night. We can't contact them for a while. Does that mean we can't see Roy anymore? But my friend Juniro was fine just yesterday. Calm down. I understand you were upset that something happened to your friends, but right now they can't come to school for a while. I was bewildered for a moment and didn't understand what happened. Hey, Kurato, you've been staring at the same spot for 30 seconds. Oh, Tenchi, I'm just in a daze. I thought you'd be relieved after hearing Roy is gone. You just like him, right? Yeah. Your face looks tense instead. You wanted him gone, now you're missing him? Well, they might come back later. Enjoy your freedom while it lasts. A few weeks passed, but the brothers never returned to the school. I kept an eye on the newspaper. Apparently something happened in the family, but it was not stated what. There were wanted posters around the village of Juniro and Roya, but none of their parents. I don't know why. You look like you haven't slept for days. Ah, nothing to worry about. Tell me, well, you know, Roy has been taking it out on me for a while. I feel stressed out from the events that went on the past days. I told you this before and followed your advice, but even though he's gone, his image is still haunting me. I want to say you shouldn't get stressed in the first place, but it's easier said than done. I rolled my eyes at her statement. In all seriousness, there's no permanent fix to this unless you change your attitude to the situation. It's either you or him. He's only a small bridge you have to cross compared to everything else later in life. You're telling me there are worse people out there? Kinda like that. Are you speaking from experience? Rasumi smiled mysteriously at me. To be honest, I didn't know much about her. She didn't really hang out with anyone at school besides me. I didn't know how we even got along. We were so different. Look what I bought. They say if you open this tiny box, you can make a wish. Rasumi took out a fancy metal box from her bag and pushed it into my hands. Why do you want me to open it? I can't open it myself, so maybe you could. I really want to see what's inside. I've never heard of making wishes in boxes. I took a deep breath and opened the lid. My mind went totally blank when I peeked inside. There was nothing I wished for. At first I thought the box was empty, but then black smoke spilled from the edge. I tried to force the lid closed, but the smoke kept leaking out of it regardless. It was almost as if the inside of the box was set on fire. Suddenly the smoke surrounded my hands and seemed to seep into my skin. I screamed out loud and dropped the box. For a split second I thought I saw a large shadow escape the box. My face went pale. When I glanced at the box, it was empty and clear of smoke. On the floor beside was a silver cross necklace and a note. Hope, from a fool who opened this box too, and sealed it again. What? I was still shivering. I looked down at my hands and there was nothing unusual about it. What just happened? Rasumi, what did you give me? Huh. She looked as dazed as I was. That's why I couldn't open it. Her eyes looked surprised, yet her mouth formed a smile. It was long before she let out a laugh. I hesitantly called her name a few times before she turned her attention to me. Where did you get that box? It's a long story. I didn't anticipate this, honestly. You saw that thing escaped, right? Maybe we should go after it and put it back in. I'm sorry, Kurato. She turned around and left me clueless there. Unsure of what to do. Eventually I examined the box and made sure it was safe before picking it up. That night I could not sleep. Countless questions popped into my head. When I was staring at the ceiling, I noticed my environment became larger. I raised my hand, but instead of a hand, in front of me was a small paw with dark fur, similar to a cat's. It mimicked any movement I made, almost as if it was my own limb. And you had been cursed. What am I supposed to do? Must be because of that box. That's right, Rasumi gave it to me. She must not have do this, right? I didn't know how long I stared into the mirror before I passed out. The next morning, I woke up as my usual self. I decided to pay Rasumi a visit at her place. What if she isn't home? Oh, Kurato, I gulped at her sudden voice. About yesterday. Come in and let's talk inside. Upon closer, I noticed the dark bags around her eyes. She did not seem like her usual cheerful self either. Her place was tidy and quiet. One of the few things I knew she lived alone. So, I know what you want to ask. It feels pointless to tell you all, though. She let a loud sigh and averted her eyes. I stole the box from her priest. He was practicing rituals and purification. I thought the box had something powerful locked inside that could be useful. What were we going to use it for? For something. I was mostly curious, though. In case you're wondering, anyone could have opened the box. You were just there at the right time. It wasn't personal. I thought we were friends. How could you do this to me? It was an accident. Suddenly, there was a bright light and my body shrunk into the small creature I saw in the mirror last night. Not again. This time the transformation only lasted a few seconds before it turned back to normal. I see. It's a curse from the box. How do you revert it? I'm not a witch. I'd have to experiment with curses to know. Oh. Right. Her eyes were so cold. I stood there in confusion. I've never seen this side of her before. I stayed up last night to practice some things. I can't guarantee anything, but if you'd like to try. I'd rather not take such risks. I prefer going to the priest himself. Don't. I won't say anything about you. They won't find out if you took the box. Yes, they will. My offer still stands. If you'd rather not do it today, you can come back anytime you want. Or even better, just forget what happened. I'll take care of the thing that escaped from the box. I left her place and went to the library. A few hours passed. The sky was dark by the time I left the library. I found a few books regarding sorcery and curses, but there was nothing related to the mysterious box. The next day I headed to a temple in the forest. I didn't know who to look for, but only one person around. The man was sleeping on the floor and muttering to himself. The box. The dangerous box. I didn't speak of the box as Rasumi told me, but I did try to get more information regarding curses. The man also taught me a few simple spells that can ward off evil presence. He was genuinely kind and I felt like returning to learn new things. The priest was usually occupied, but he always made a little time for me. One night when I returned from the temple, I saw some strange shadows passing by in an alley. I did not bat an eye at it, and rushed to go home as soon as possible. Kurato? Hi. She had a cane in her hand, the same one I saw when I first went to her for help with the curse. Without another word, I ran away as fast as I could. She kept calling my name as she pursued me. When I looked behind me, what I saw rendered me speechless. She has wings. Is she an angel or something? Focus, Kurato. My house is close. If I lock the door, she shouldn't be able to catch me. Suddenly, I ran into someone and almost fell to the ground. Oh no. Where are you running away from? Before I could answer, Rasumi was already catching up. She threw her cane at us. I cowered down and hid behind Kenshi. A loud gasp made me open my eyes. Kenshi fell to his knees first. I was less suspicious that I didn't notice a large shadow landing in front of me. Looked up to see Rasumi's surprised expression. Within a fraction of a second, my vision turned black, and it felt like I was getting sucked up into the darkness. The last thing I heard was an unknown male voice shouting in the distance. What happened? What? I woke up from the sunlight shining in my face. My body was so heavy I couldn't move an inch. In my bunny form again. It was the same place, but it felt different. Tenchi isn't here. And did Rasumi spare me after all? Maybe the shadow saved him. I think that's what happened. Bunny. There's a high-pitched voice nearby. Whoa, you're all worn out. Let me help you. We moved to a bench. Oh, she met him when, he was a bunny. That makes sense. How else would he know her? She took out a bottle of water from her bag and gave me some. It was as if she could read my mind. I forgot all my worries and let myself enjoy the moment. She ignored me at first, but then let me follow. I was brought to a room I suppose it was hers. Wait here, Bunny. I'm gonna get you some food. I know everyone in this village, but why haven't I seen this girl before? She seems to be around my age, but so she should go to the same school as me. The numbers are way higher than it should be. The date must be wrong. After entering the room, the girl put the food in front of me and smiled brightly. There was something nice about her that made me feel at ease. As I began eating, my worries faded away. You look so cute while eating. My name's Miyako. What should I call you? Are you a girl? I shook my head heavily in response. Okay, you're a boy. I'll call you Kuto, because you're cute. Kurato. She almost guessed my name correctly. I wonder how you ended up at the park all alone. Could you be a missing pet? Judging from the cross necklace. Why are you acting so difficult? I want to be sure if you got an owner. I knew I couldn't stay for long. My transformations would only get in the way. I snuck out when Miyako didn't look. Leaving her would make me sad, but I had no choice. It didn't take long before I figured out I had jumped through time. While exploring the village, I was convinced that a whole century had passed. I went to the address that was supposed to be my home, only to find no building there. My parents must have been long gone. I tried to learn more of the world and make a living in it. I had no place to stay, so I decided to find sport at the police station. And we'll leave things off here since... Well, yeah, that makes sense. We knew he jumped through time. This is a flashback. I guess it makes more clarification on Roya's problem. His supposed friend tried to kill him. Neat. I hope you've all enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget the like button, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, goodbye.